Rochelle Story is from Little Falls. We want to just find out how this whole thing unfolded. There's an employee who has been fired, and in New York State, as Joe has explained, you can be fired for anything. And let me tell you, I know all about that. Anyway, this young lady is the one who called him out and on Facebook, and he is ultimately fired. He worked at a business in Little Falls. Rochelle, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. Tell me how this all happened. Did you and your relationship with the guy?
Basically, I went to middle school with his older brother. So he actually used to ride a bus that I took when I was in middle school.
Okay. This is at Little Falls?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, actually, it was Dolgeville.
Okay.
Middle school, I was in Dolgeville, but lived in the Little Falls, Dolgeville area.
Okay, got it.
He, like I said, we went to middle school together. I hadn't been friends with him on Facebook until like the last year. He just recently added me. I recognized the name and, just added him as a friend.
Yeah.
And just the other day I saw that post. I really get upset when I see things like that. I live in New York City. I communicate. It's a very diverse area, and that just really upsets me that people still have that mindset.
So he had a post that was specifically showing off the
showing
swastika
off
tattoo?
His softball-sized swastika on his arm and speaking hatred towards people of Jewish descent and also Black Americans.
All right, then it's very simple. You witnessed this. He said he did have comments on his Facebook page before you ever approached him on it at all, before he was ever fired.
Yes.
Okay. Well, listen, Joe was just talking about it. We're all just talking about it. I tell my kids, you put something on Facebook, you're gonna get if it's bad, if it's overly controversial, you're not going to get the job or you're going to get fired. It happens. So then, what did you do? Then what did you do, Rochelle?
Well, basically, I saw that there was other people from the community that were making comments on it and liking it, and no one had any issue with how he posted it, which was disgusting to me. So I shared my distaste for his disgusting, hateful words, and he came back at me, and I had a couple other people throwing petty insults at me for standing up for something that was extremely wrong. So it didn't allow me to share the post, so I screenshotted it. I thought everyone should know in the community the type of people that are walking around with their children.
And then after you shared it, how did it get from point A to point B? How did it get to the Little Falls Lumber, that he worked at Little Falls Lumber?
Actually, I noticed that people were looking in his about where he shared openly that he does work there and has worked there for many years. And people were upset and didn't want this company having someone there, especially when they spend thousands of dollars there, with someone that shares this kind of discrimination towards other people.
So you feel that there were customers, regular customers of the business that had caught wind of this and seen this and went to the business.
Yes, and I did see posts of people saying, I will not be giving my business to this company if they continue to have this person employed. It's bad for business to have someone openly speaking that kind of hate and representing that company.
Well, it's not, I mean, if that's the hate that you have in your heart, keep it there, because that's not justifying it, but you have the right to feel that. This guy has the right to be racist in the United States. He has the right to speak racism in the United States, unfortunately, but that's part of our free speech. But business, you start putting this stuff in public, a business has every right to say, wait a minute, you're going to be hurting our business, and we don't agree with you, and you're gone. Bingo. He's done.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that he has to, take responsibility for that. And, I've gotten a lot of people that have, come out to me in support, way more than the few that have come at me and personally tried to say that this is all my fault and victimize him for losing his job.
Well, it is your fault, but you're proud of it.
I don't feel fault in it. I think that it was his fault for sharing that.
Sure, you're right.
And he has to take consequences for the things that he shares socially.
Some people have called you a hero. Do you think you're a hero? Have you been heroic or anything like that?
I don't, and I didn't do it for any of those purposes. Honestly, I didn't know any of this was going to come of it. I just thought it was disgusting, and more so that people were not going against it and saying that it was wrong.
I do think it's important when you see something to stand up and say, "I'm sorry, I don't endorse that." That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not Jewish. I'm not Black. But at the end of the day, I think it's wrong. And I honestly think if someone was to sit down in front of him and ask him, why do you hate these people? Why do you feel freely to speak like this?
Yeah.
I don't think he'd have an answer.
Yeah, you're probably right. Or at the very least, a correct answer, an answer that actually is legitimate. Andrew.
Exactly.
So I want to ask about what happened after that, if you're willing to talk about it. He had some exchanges with you during the course of your calling him out, and then he messaged you privately. Is that correct?
He did, yes.
So what was some of the context of that conversation?
Basically, at first, kind of mocking me for saying that it was wrong and telling me that I should mind my own business, as well as using other slurs and saying that that I love Black people and Jewish people.
Did I lose you? Oh, you're back now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he used the N-word, at least in the public post, and Jew lover is what he said. And that's what he called you.
He did.
Yeah.
And basically, he also did say thank you for making the post, which people may not have seen that message he posted on the actual shared post. He said thank you because this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to offend people. So I don't know why people are so upset that it was shared when he clearly said, thank you for sharing this because I proudly walk around in cutoffs and suggest these things. So
did he later apologize to you?
He sent me a private message basically saying that he's sorry if it offended me, but it's really not about offending me. Yeah. It's about how he's offending millions of people with no disregard.
Right. All right, Rochelle, I'm with you. I think you did the right thing. Thanks for thanks for coming on the radio. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
All right.